Thermite.
When you mix fuel, metal oxide, and metal powder in just the right way, it burns at 2,000 degrees Celsius. Hot enough to cut through nearly any barrier known to man. Throw some C4 into the mix, and you've got one hell of a combination.
Operator name, Jordan Trace. Nickname, Thermite. Place of birth, Plano, Texas. Background. Trace joined the Marines after high school, serving 2 tours in Iraq. After his discharge, he used his GI Bill money to put himself through college at Texas A&M and earned a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry. He then joined the FBI. After 4 years as a field agent, he transferred to FBI SWAT. Psychological profile. Regimented, disciplined, orderly. These are some of the words people use to describe Trace. He knows when to relax, especially in social situations. He takes pride in knowing all of the variables. Trace prefers to be the one in control rather than leave things to chance. Training. U.S. Marine Corps Close Quarters Battle School. U.S. Marine Corps Methods of Entry. U.S. Marine Corps Helicopter and Rope Suspension Techniques Master Course. Texas A&M Bachelor of Science in Chemistry. FBI Field Agent. FBI SWAT. Relevant experience. 2 tours of duty in Iraq with the Fleet Anti-Terrorism Security Team, also known as the FAST Team.
So obviously we got Thermite here, like I said, and we picked Thermite to start it off because our boy's from Texas, Yeah. Here we are in Texas, and he's from Plano, which is just north of where we live. Actually, we're actually located in the Dallas area, so he's just north of where we're at. But his name is Jordan Trace, and he's from the FBI Los Angeles SWAT team. And why don't you tell everybody that doesn't know what his specialty is? 0.
Well, his specialty is Brimstone BC-3 exothermic charge, which is basically like your breach charge that has a few second delay before it actually releases, but it'll actually blow through reinforced walls, which makes Thermite probably the best operator when it comes to attack, just because he's able to do something that's incredibly unique to the attack.
Yeah, so he's necessary, right? So when we were talking about these and going through these lists, this is kind of be in the order in which 0's ranking them. And so for everybody that's out there, this is your first time to listen to us. 0 is what we like to call our gaming nerd. He is the guy that digs in and really gets the information and plays around. So he's kind of put together a ranking here for us. So we're going to be kind of doing these in order. And Thermite is really important, bro. I mean, he's super important, like you were saying. So, his special ability, obviously blowing through walls. I mean, what other things does he bring to the table?
Well, I think the biggest thing, it's really hard to understate how important he is. He's important because he can do something and get people into places where nobody else can get you. And so if we go over his weapons, I mean, he has a pretty standard loadout. He can, say your team doesn't take Ash or some of the other breachers, he has the ability to take breach charges as well, giving him 2 Thermite charges and then 3 breach charges, which makes him a hell of a breacher because he has 5 breaches.
Right. Or he can take nades in the other slot, right, for his gadgets.
Yeah, I prefer nades. Personally, I prefer nades. Just because I think thermiting in and throwing nades is a huge potential. Normally because people tend to, build walls up of where they're going to stay.
Right.
So throwing a grenade in there as opposed to having 3 other breach charges is incredibly relevant to what you're doing, because more than likely you're going to either displace people or you're going to kill people.
Well, and this was we talked about this the other day. I was like, sometimes I feel like I have too many breach charges, especially when I play Thermite, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like I could use those nades, like you're saying, when I infiltrate a room. unless it's the hostage, right? So obviously you blow that wall up where the hostage is. You got to be really careful with those nades.
Yeah, I mean, I still use nades even on hostage, but I feel pretty comfortable throwing the nades.
Right.
I'll say I've downed the hostage a couple times with the bad nade. I've killed the
Well,
hostage maybe once
as
or
our buddy
twice.
Agent said, he's like, if I win 2 out of 3 rounds, I'll kill him that third round. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
But no, overall, I mean, it's a good kit with the nades to soften a room up, and get you in where they don't expect you to come in. Because pretty much when people barricade a wall with the reinforced steel, it's like they pretty much expect that that's going to stay there. They're like, and we're not going to lose that. And some
right.
people tend to, build they'll put their collapsible walls and stuff like that in corners near those kinds of things. And then when that gets blown open, there's a nade in their face. It becomes very, very difficult for them to move out of the way.
I've been in that situation myself, when the nade gets thrown in the room and you're like, oh crap, I gotta move, but now they're gonna know where I am. You know what I mean? So
Right.
definitely works in all types of instances for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and also with Thermite, you don't want him to be aggressive until he's used up his Thermite charges.
Right.
Because if he goes down early in the match, and I've literally found myself where someone's taken Thermite, and he dies very early, playing way too aggressive or something. Something happens, and the next thing I know, I've been in situations where we can't get in a room. Like, we just can't. Like, maybe I'm playing glass and I don't have, a breach charge, and I'm like, I have no way to get in this room. I can't even attempt. I have to hope these guys inside are stupid enough to come out after me because I can't get in.
Right. Or like I was saying, it's a blueberry, right? Or a random that you're playing with. And all of a sudden you're like, hey dude, come over here and blow this wall up. Come over here and blow this wall up. We've encountered that a few times for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Obviously his guns, he's got a shotgun and an assault rifle, right?
He has the M101 for shotgun, and he has the 5.56 XI assault rifle. I'm not a huge fan of shotguns on offense. There's the plane, like when you're on the presidential plane, that's one of those maps where shotgun is always welcome.
Right.
I do like shotguns to kind of blow through walls and make new sight lines. But overall, on the attack, I'm not a huge shotgun guy. So most of the time, I'd say 90% of the time with Thermite, you'll see me with the 5.56 XI assault rifle.
What attachments are you throwing on that thing?
I use red dot, silencer, vertical grip, and the laser sight. Laser sight to me is not super important, but there's a debate amongst people that the laser sight makes your sights, like your downscope sighting, smaller.
Right.
So
I've been taking it off because I just hate those situations where I'm looking around, I'm sitting, maybe patiently, I hear somebody moving around me, and I feel like it's giving me away a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like sometimes it's shining on, because I've seen it where like someone's shining it on a wall, around the corner, and I know they're around that corner, so I turn around and kill them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm definitely, in that group of people. I think, opposite of you, I don't play with it on that gun.
Yeah, I mean, I think the laser sight should be a little less noticeable.
Right.
Because I don't think, this game seems to really kind of tailor itself towards reality. I don't think in real life you would see a laser sight, to be honest, unless there's like smoke in the air or some kind of debris that's actually causing that laser to kind of be lit up.
Right.
Or reflect. So I don't know. I agree with you. A lot of cases, me and Hambone talked about having the option to turn off the laser sight, which I think would
that would be
really
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, if you turn it on and off, that would be really good. So what about his secondary weapons? He's always got 2 pistols here, right? I mean, what are they? What are you using?
I use the M45. He has a 5.7 USG, which I believe is actually the stronger hitting one. But I tend to, with a pistol, I like to have a lot of rounds. In this game, hip firing a pistol is extremely effective.
Yeah,
And
actually, I think the 5.7 actually is the lighter damage with the more.
that might be it.
Yeah.
But it's incredibly effective to hip fire a pistol. So the more rounds you have in it, the more effective hip firing that pistol is, regardless if it's a little less in damage.
Yeah, I think the 5.7G or USG has like 20 bullets in capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one has 7. But I'm like you. I use the M45, and I think I use it because it does like 50 damage, and the 5.7 does 38 damage. And most of the time, I'm aiming downside. I don't hip fire as much as you do.
I don't really hip fire too much with the primaries, even with red dot. Like I don't know, like I watched a thing with the devs where they said that the bullet or point of origin, like where it's created at and where it shoots from, is the middle of the screen because they wanted to do that so that it seems like if you're like, say, laying on a roof that's at a triangle, and you're sitting on the edge of that roof, like looking over the triangle part at the top of the triangle, your gun may look like it's not above that. But the way the game's designed is that even though your gun may not look like it's over that ledge, like the gun, you're still going to shoot where your sights are pointing.
I like how you're actually aiming down sight right now while you're talking. You're like acting like you're aiming down sight. It's awesome.
Yeah,
you're getting all into it when you're talking about.
It keeps me focused on. But so, being that that's the case, like I don't know, hip firing honestly is probably really effective. Although the bullets and the way that they shoot, based off of what they were saying during that thing, is yes, they're going to shoot from the center of your screen,
right?
But like when you're hip firing, your spread and the randomness of the spread is a lot bigger than if you're aiming down sight full auto.
I gotcha.
So I don't know. It's not recommended really to fire from the hip unless it's a pistol. And the reason the pistol is so good is because that cone of like accuracy is going to drop pretty quickly with a pistol, even if you're single firing it pretty fast.
Speak of single fire, I mean, I know we've been talking about, focusing on headshots, obviously in this game. Headshots are a huge thing. Are single fire weapons like your main key here? I mean, are you doing his gun when you play with it in single fire, or are you full auto, or what you doing?
I pretty much rock every gun in the game that I do single fire. I throw it in single fire mode. I haven't found much use for like 3-round burst. I don't think his gun has 3-round burst. But full auto is more like if I'm getting in the room, I'm coming in the room, I'm pretty sure there's people in there, more than 1, 2. I'm ready to unload. But for the most part, I like to go single fire because you can lay down some good suppressive fire on people with single shot and keep your reticle where you want it and keep those shots going where you want it. Whereas, I don't know, the burst of even a couple shots coming out on full auto, it tends to kick your gun up a lot more.
No, I gotcha. Yeah, I'm starting to play a lot more with single rounds as well. And when I play him, I actually play a lot. I play shotgun a lot with him, like a ton. So I've been enjoying that. I used to take him all the time on defense. I mean, on offense, I used to take him all the time. But I'm finding some of the other guys a little more maybe interesting for me to play, or letting some of the other guys play Thermite that are stay back a little bit, so me and you can kind of push in and be more aggressive. So everybody knows you play this game pretty aggressively, like every game you play, right?
Pretty much. I mean, I'm looking for flanks. I'm looking, even when I'm playing Thermite, like I said, you shouldn't play super aggressive with this guy. You don't, until you use your charges. Like, you are incredibly important to the team. As soon as you use your charges, you're still important because every life matters, but your stock has gone down quite a bit because that's the only reason you're there, is to get us through some reinforced walls.
Are you surprised that none of these shotguns have silencers on them?
No, not really. I mean, I would be afraid of what a shotgun would look like with silencer. I would assume that it would kind of make it more like slug rounds, and the spread would go down.
Well, we've seen some games with silencers on shotguns, right? I mean, Call of Duty's done it.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm surprised that none of these do, especially as being so crazy tactical and silencers being, I think, a pretty big thing. We've gone back and forth on that, right? Like silencer, no silencer on primaries.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
here's the thing: if you're going to take a silencer, understand that someone using a compensator or a flash hider is probably going to beat you if y'all were to turn the corner at the exact same time and shoot at the exact same time. Say your guns did the exact same, random
recoil pattern.
pattern, right? If they did the exact same thing, like everything was exact, you're probably going to lose head up, because the silencer drops your damage. But the thing that's understated about a silencer is it works pretty effectively. I mean, I can't tell you how many times when I'm, and I find some pretty crazy sightlines in this game. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten some sightlines on people, killed one or two guys, and I see another guy like looking around like, where the hell did that come from? Because he has no clue where it came from. And
especially with those one-shot headshots.
Yep. And that's what I aim for. That's why I put in single fire mode. I throw that silencer on, that one, and it's like, where did that come from? I mean, seriously, where did that come from? Because try and find me. So
before we jump out of this section to the next one, who do you think goes well with Thermite? Like, who are some of the other operatives that you'd say, hey, you're teaming up with Thermite, take him, maybe one or two people that, give a little bit of bonus to the teamwork, that he brings in.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to round out a team with Thermite, I would say Thermite is, obviously, probably you want to look at Thermite at least for always an option for your teams. But building a team around Thermite, I'd probably put like a Blitz is a really good choice.
Yeah.
I think Ash is a great choice because the fact that she can breach ceiling panels. And so like on the house, we've done this multiple times where we go into the dining room when it's in master bedroom, and we breach that floor panel right behind those dresser and everything that they like to, people like to sit behind.
Now you're starting to give away some secrets about Ash, man. I mean, we don't want to give all those away yet, do we?
Right, but this is why I just want to point why we're building this team the way we would. Glaz, I think, is really good because, like I said, if that objective on the house, for instance, is bottom floor in the garage, if they put, you reinforce the garage doors, you blow that with, Glaz sitting back, behind the cop cars, you give him a great, point of or viewpoint. So Glaz, I think, is really good for that situation. And then Twitch is a really good option for Thermite for the simple fact of mute. So using Twitch's bot to be able to, like, you get up to that window, or you get up to that door and you try to throw a charge on it. Maybe it's electrified, or maybe it's, you can't click it. It's muted. You can't click the charge off. You get your Twitch in there and zap those electronics out.
Right. I mean, tonight we were playing a game on Consulate, right? And we blew up the garage doors, right? Because obviously that's it. The bomb was down in the garage, and everybody usually fortifies those walls, And it was me, you, and Hambone, and he was playing Thermite, and he came over and blew those walls. But you were playing Gaz, and you sat back and just destroyed it. And that was a really good, I think, focus on where Thermite's up there, and you got Glaz behind him, really looking through those lines of sight lines and taking people out.
Right, absolutely.
So, I think in any situation where, he can create, that's the other thing, he creates sight lines too, right? So any situation where that goes, I think him and Glaz are great together. I think Blitz is another great one because once you do blow up that wall, Blitz can walk in, do a little flash, especially in tight corridors. So, I mean, my two, definitely that would go with him is Glaz and Blitz for sure. Yeah. I mean, I love those combos. Two of our other favorite operatives as well, right? So that's always a good one. I think that on the defensive side, if you're Thermite, who do you hate to see? I mean, who's the person you really don't want to encounter?
Absolutely, it's Mute and Bandit. Because I've seen too many people where going to throw that charge on the reinforced wall, and they get it shocked, and so they lose the charge and they take a considerable amount of damage. Or they go up and they're like click 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 click, and it's like, oh, it's muted.
It's happened to me.
Yeah,
happened to me. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah,
is my controller just messed up?
At least with mute, you can grab the charge and take it. Like with Bandit, the charge is gone and you took damage. Like it's a lose-lose.
Yeah, so that's one of the things, right? If you put his charge, if you put his exothermic charge on the wall, it can be shot, right? It can be shot. It can be, like you said, it can be electrocuted.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a number of ways that it can stop, and obviously it's a time, so it's a little different than the other breaches or charges because it takes some time to blow up.
Yeah. The only good thing about it though is because it's going on reinforced walls most of the time, it's not like you can see it through the wall. Like it's coming whenever it's coming, but since it's reinforced, you can't shoot through like as a defender, you can't shoot through the reinforcement to cancel out what's about to happen.
Right.
So that's why he's so strong, is that he has the ability to do these things that nobody else can do and get you in places where people don't want you to be.
The best is whenever you blow up a wall and you see that the kill cam, or the sticker, down at the bottom, the kill feed, and it's just like, oh, I killed somebody too.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. But so what I'm saying to everybody is, if you are just picking this game up, Thermite probably the best, first attacker you should buy. This is the most useful to your team to start out with.
And what's your loadout to go over it one more time? What's your loadout with him?
Assault rifle, the 5.56 XI, the M45. I run frags with a red dot silencer, vertical grip, laser sight if you feel so inclined.
Never stop until the threat is neutralized.
Eliminate the terrorists.